All right, welcome back to the channel. So Terence Crawford and Kell Brook was a fight that I was thinking was going to be made. I was happy about it, hoping it takes place. But it seems as if Eddie Hearn and Kell Brook and Terence Crawford won't be able to pull that off. But seems like a great opening for Yordenis Ugas. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So, unfortunately, man, I read this article. It was in Boxing News 24. Definitely go check out Boxing News 24. Very good editorial articles over there. Don't always agree, but these guys are consistent and they do a really good job. They write very well. So, in this particular article, they talked to Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn says that he does not believe that the fight between Kell Brook and Terence Crawford can happen this year. And he stated, a bunch of reasons for it. I have to say that I believe that what he's saying is accurate. It makes me sick to my stomach, but it is probably true. And what he said was, first, that this is a fight that if the fight takes place in 147, that Kell Brook is going to need at least, I think he said something to akin of 4 months to train for the fight, because he's somebody that, needs to be in the gym constantly. And because of this corona stuff, he hasn't been able to. So in order for him to get down to 147 and get down to 147 safely and in a way where he'll have some strength in the fight, that it's going to take a considerable amount of time for him to do that. So he doesn't see that fight taking place this year. Also, obviously, an issue with that fight is that this year that they do not know if they're going to lift the travel restrictions between the U.S. and the U.K. You have Terence Crawford in the U.S. You have Kell Brook in the U.K. So as a result, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to know if that fight, if and when that fight can happen. I personally think if you go another year too far into if you go too far into 2021, then the fight's not going to happen. The fight more than likely is not going to happen at all. Now, I really do wish that we could see the fight between Terence Crawford and Kell Brook, because I think that would be a great measuring stick for both of them. One, if Kell Brook can give any serious type of fight to Terence Crawford, then you have to consider Kell Brook somebody that is still a serious player in the welterweight division, or really the 154-pound division. Truth be told, Kell Brook, if he's having a hard time at 147, you might want to consider that dude's career as having been one, because I don't see very many of these 147 pounders being able to go up to 154 and really compete with those guys at 154. 154 is a very deep weight class, very deep. And with guys that are bigger and stronger, and in many instances younger than Kell Brook, I can't see Kell Brook getting in there with really any of the champions. I don't see him doing well against Rosario. Definitely not Jermell Charlo. Maybe he could do something with Teixeira, but if Teixeira when they come back loses to Brian Castano, I can't see him doing anything with Brian Castano either. So, if this fight is not made, then you can pretty much just say goodbye to Kell Brook. At least that's my opinion. Other than him fighting, in these, maybe some more mismatched domestic level fights. And it would be unfortunate for Terence Crawford to miss the opportunity of getting to Kell Brook, a guy like Kell Brook on his resume. That's my take. However, it does allow Terence, it does put even a more realistic fight at the forefront of the fights that I'd like to see Terence Crawford have that do not include a current 147-pound fighter, and 147-pound champion, and that's the fight with Yordenis Ugas. Yordenis Ugas, I think, and Shawn Porter, obviously, but it just doesn't seem to me that, Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter, I think the difficulties with Terence Crawford, Shawn Porter are around money, because Shawn Porter is a guy that just came off of a pay-per-view fight, right? He sees himself as the type of guy that should be getting a considerable amount of money in for the fights that he makes, and he should. He's a former IBF champion. He's a former WBC champion, and this fact was not missed by Bob Arum, when Bob Arum said that Shawn Porter, would be asking for too much money, similar to what he said with the fight with Mikey Garcia, right? That these guys want too much money, and as a result, who's going to pay for the fight, and pretty much Bob Arum brushing that fight off. Now, I do not believe that should be the case, however, with Yordenis Ugas. With Yordenis Ugas, he has all of the best of the both worlds for Terence Crawford and what boxing fans are looking for out of Terence Crawford. Many boxing fans are looking for out of Terence Crawford, which is a fight at welterweight against a top-level guy. Yordenis Ugas he has a win. Number one, he has a win over Terence Crawford in the amateurs, right? So you have the type of scenario that it could be like Vernon Forrest versus Shane Mosley. Vernon Forrest, beat Shane Mosley in the amateurs. Not a lot of people were talking rest in peace to the Viper. Not many people were talking about Vernon Forrest being a big risk for Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley was coming off a win against Oscar De La Hoya. He was listed as, one of the top pound for pound guys in boxing, if not the top pound for pound guy in boxing after his win over Oscar De La Hoya, only to run into Vernon Forrest, who he lost to in the amateurs, and get beaten soundly. And then for the rematch, he got beaten soundly again. So there are plenty of examples of a guy beating somebody in the amateurs and then turning around and being able to do the same thing in the pro. So not only is that a real risk for Terence Crawford, it's also a selling point for Yordenis Ugas in the lead up to the fight, right? Where some people might not know who Yordenis Ugas is. However, let's be honest, more people should know who Yordenis Ugas is than knows Igas Kalvanakis or David Benavidez. So not being known really has not been, a barrier to getting the Terence Crawford fight before. So it shouldn't be now. Then, the style of the fight is an excellent style, matchup for the fights. It's a guy that's a big, strong dude who's not, I don't believe he's lost at 147. And many people believe, that Yordenis Ugas actually beat Shawn Porter, and he's looked dominant lately with the way that he ran through Omar Figueroa. Omar Figueroa is, even though he's inactive, he's a very good fighter, man, and a tough guy to beat. But he is a 140-pound fighter who moved up to 147, and Yordenis Ugas, who also used to be at 140. At 147, looks like he is full-fledged a 147-pound guy. He also keeps himself in absolutely tremendous shape. So I don't see any let up from Yordenis Ugas as a result of having taken some times off from fights. You see Yordenis Ugas consistently posting to social media, shows pictures of him in those tight ass suits that he needs to stop wearing. Man, Yordenis Ugas, stop wearing them huggers like that, man. But at the very least, when he's wearing those huggers, you can tell that the guy's in shape. So that's my hope for Terence Crawford. It's obvious that the Kell Brook fight's going to be difficult. The Shawn Porter fight's going to be difficult to make, right? The Errol Spence Jr. fight is obviously difficult to make. But the Yordenis Ugas fight, that's something that should be easy. Right, obviously the majority of the money is going to go to Terence Crawford. If Yordenis Ugas is confident, man, this is his ticket, so he might be willing to take that fight for a little less money than he ordinarily would, because the prospects for him getting a shot at Terence Crawford, at Errol Spence Jr. or Manny Pacquiao, over the next year and a half is, it's slim to none, because Errol Spence Jr. is lined up with Danny Garcia and Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford, and Manny Pacquiao's fighting whoever he really wants to fight. However, Yordenis Ugas is not on the list of people being mentioned for that. So what else are you guys going to do? Crawford's not going to fight Ugas. Thurman's not going to fight Ugas. I said Ugas. They're not going to fight him. So let it be Terence Crawford, man. And I think that would be it'd be an absolutely wonderful fight to behold. I obviously would pick Terence Crawford in that fight, but like I said, it could be a scenario like where one guy just has the other guy's numbers. Yordenis Ugas is a pressure fighter who cuts off the ring well. And well, he didn't actually cut off the ring terribly well with Shawn Porter, but anyway, you get the drift, and we'll see whether or not that fight pops off. I hate that Terence Crawford is in this situation, man, because I've been watching a lot more of his fights. I've been rewatching his fights for this project that I'm working on, and let me assure you, dude, this dude is an absolutely wonderful fighter. The size of Yordenis Ugas and the fighting style of Yordenis Ugas really should put him in enough of trouble in that fight to show something that Terence Crawford's not been able to show, and that's that he can overcome adversity. And the reason he hasn't really shown that he can overcome adversity, other than getting wobbled by Yordenis Gamboa in a fight that Yordenis Gamboa was really out of before he cracked Terence Crawford. But other than that situation, Terence Crawford has been a bit of a he's been running with the lead in all of his fights. Anyway, we'll see what happens. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.